Welcome to Purple Phantom Shorts, to a quiet corner where the gentle patter of rain accompanies tales of the unexplained. Tonight, we embark on a journey through mysteries that linger like the last drops of a summer shower, leaving questions that ripple through time. Each story is a whisper in the wind, a puzzle piece missing from a grander picture, inviting us to simply listen and ponder. As the soft rain continues its soothing rhythm, take a moment to settle in. If these quiet tales resonate with your spirit, consider joining our growing community. Let the gentle sigh of the wind be your cue to softly tap that subscribe button. And if you wish to be gently reminded of our next shared moment, allow the subtle glow of the notification bell to illuminate your path. There's no rush, just a quiet invitation to remain connected to these echoes of the past. Let's begin our quiet exploration with a phenomenon that painted a chilling symbol across America's waterways. Imagine a dark, quiet night, the kind where only the distant hum of the city breaks the silence, and then a discovery. Beginning in the late 1990s, unsettling pattern emerged across the United States. Hundreds of young men, many of them popular and athletic college students, were found drowned in rivers and lakes. On the surface, they were labeled accidental drownings, but for a group of retired detectives, something felt terribly wrong. They noticed something peculiar near many of the sites where bodies were found. A graffiti, often a simple smiley face. This led to a chilling theory: could these be more than accidents? Could these young men have been drugged, abducted, and placed in the water to hide a darker truth? The idea of a connected group, dubbed the Smiley Face Killers, sent shivers through communities, though many professionals remained skeptical, insisting these were indeed accidental drownings. The question remains, hanging heavy in the air like a damp fog: were these truly tragic accidents, or did a hidden hand guide these young souls to their watery graves, leaving behind a cryptic, unsettling smile? Now let us drift across the sea to Dublin, Ireland. And a cold December morning in the year 2000, Trevor Deely, a young man leaving his work Christmas party, decided to swing by the office to grab an umbrella for his walk home. A simple, everyday act, yet it marked the last time he was seen. CCTV footage showed Trevor leaving his office, and then a short distance away, a man dressed in black was seen following him. Just moments later, Trevor vanished into the Dublin night. To this day, no one knows what became of him. His brother, Mark, later shared that the man seen following Trevor was not the same person seen outside the office, adding another layer to the mystery. The man outside the office has never been identified. The rain still falls in Dublin, and with each drop, the question echoes: what happened to Trevor Deely on that fateful December morning? From the drizzling streets of Dublin, our journey takes us to the hardened world of Canadian bikers, a world where loyalties are fierce and shadows run deep. David Carroll, known as Wolf, was a key player in the notorious Hells Angels, deeply involved in the Canadian biker wars of the late 90s and early 2000s. He was a man of repute, linked to drug trafficking and extortion. But in March of 2001, Canadian police charged Wolf with a staggering 13 counts of first-degree murder, part of a major crackdown on violent gangs. Yet, Wolf was a step ahead, already in Mexico when the warrant was issued. An extradition request was filed, but Wolf Carroll, true to his name, slipped away, evading capture. He has reportedly been sighted in various corners of the globe, from South America to Australia, but he has never been found. The winds of justice still blow, searching for a man who disappeared into the vast unknown, a phantom in the criminal underworld. Our next tale unwinds like a winding road beneath a clouded sky, the story of a young woman on a journey of self-discovery that took a tragic turn. On March 9, 2000, 23-year-old college student Leah Roberts left her home in Durham, North Carolina. She told no one where she was going, but over the next 4 days she drove all the way to Bellingham, Washington. Those who knew her said Leah was at a difficult point in her life, adrift after dropping out of university and grappling with the recent deaths of both her parents. On March 13th, she left a restaurant in Bellingham and was never seen again. 5 days later, her wrecked car was found in North Cascades National Park. The starter motor had been tampered with, a strange detail. Was it murder? Did she choose to disappear and start anew? Authorities aren't even certain if Leah was in the car when it crashed. Her friends and family still wait, the silence of the mountains holding the secret of Leah Roberts' final destination. As the rain softly drums on the roof, our thoughts turn skyward, to a mystery that defies earthly explanation. The turn of the new millennium brought with it not only a change in date but also a fresh wave of the unexplained. In the quiet pre-dawn hours of January 5, 2000, around 4 a.m., a mysterious object was seen silently traversing the skies over various small Illinois towns, including Highland and Lebanon. This was no ordinary aircraft. Witnesses described strange lights, and a sense of awe, or perhaps unease, filled the air. This UFO sighting became a prominent topic, even inspiring songs and stories. The official explanation from the FAA pointed to an advertising blimp, but a blimp flying over small towns at 4 a.m.? The explanation felt thin, like a cloud scattering in the wind. Was it a blimp, a natural phenomenon, or something truly from beyond our understanding, momentarily gracing the tranquil Midwestern sky? The question hangs like a low-lying mist. Our next story is a heartbreaking echo, a case that shone a harsh light on a system meant to protect. 4-year-old Relia Wilson disappeared on January 18, 2001 in Florida, but the tragedy deepened when it was revealed that her disappearance wasn't reported for over a year. Her caseworker, Deborah Muskell, failed to check on Relia and later resigned amid charges of fraud. Relia's caregiver, Geraldine Graham, offered a convoluted story, claiming a DCF worker took Relia for a medical evaluation and never returned her, a story later proven false. Graham was ultimately convicted of child abuse but not murder, due to insufficient evidence. Relia's body has never been found. Despite Graham's claims that Relia was a happy child and that she took good care of her, the chilling fact remains. A little girl vanished and the truth of her fate remains buried hidden, perhaps by secrets as deep as the earth. From the warmth of Florida, we crossed the ocean to England, where a planned business trip took a perplexing turn. Kevin Palmer, a timeshare salesman based in Spain, told his family he was traveling to Newcastle, England in March of 1999. But his true destination was Titchfield, a small village far from Newcastle. Why the lie? Why Titchfield? No one knows. He was last seen leaving a taxi after a heated argument with two companions, John Hawthorne and Juan Aruz. Hawthorne and Aruz re-entered the cab without Palmer and drove away. He was never seen again. The men admitted to fighting Palmer and leaving him on the ground, but denied killing him. Yet, a whisper of doubt lingers. Was it just a fight that led to an unexpected disappearance? Or did something far more sinister occur in that quiet English night? The air is thick with unspoken questions. Our next tale brings us to Moscow, to the quiet, studious life of William Poklepkin, a renowned Russian academic born in 1923. He was a specialist in Scandinavian history, but ironically, gained widespread fame as a food expert, writing extensively on Russian cuisine and even authoring a popular history of vodka. What makes his story deeply unsettling is that despite his literary connection to alcohol, Poklepkin himself was a teetotaler. In March of 2000, after missing a publishing deadline, his bloodied body was found in his Podolsk apartment. He had been stabbed a brutal 11 times with a screwdriver. And here lies the chilling twist. Alcohol was found in his system. His potential killer has never been identified, and the mystery of the alcohol in his blood remains as perplexing as the motive for such a violent attack on a quiet scholar. The rain outside seems to echo the unanswered questions, like a persistent drip. Now we turn to the sun-drenched, yet dangerous, landscapes of Mexico, to the story of Zeno Quaranta, a prominent figure in the Gulf Cartel throughout the 1990s. He was an enforcer, a leader in organized crime operations. But the loyalty within such circles is a fragile thing. In March of 2001, drug lord Gilberto Garcia Mina was arrested, and many within the cartel whispered that Quaranta had informed on him. That October, assassins stormed Quaranta's estate in Nuevo Leon, intent on killing him. By sheer chance, he wasn't home. This event, however, put both law enforcement and the cartel on his trail. With nowhere left to turn, Quaranta vanished. He has not been seen since. While occasional statements are released through his legal team, he remains a phantom, believed to be living off drug money in places like Brazil, Cuba, or Canada. The winds carry no trace of him, only the legend of a man who disappeared into the global underworld. Our 10th story in this video takes us to the vibrant, yet sometimes perilous, beauty of Thailand, and a tragedy that resonated globally. In the summer of 2000, Kirsty Jones, a young British woman, traveled to Chiang Mai, Thailand's second-largest city. Her journey, however, ended in horror. On August 10th, she was found strangled to death, and evidence suggested she had been sexually assaulted before being murdered. Her brutal death sparked international outrage and a widespread investigation by Thai police. Yet, despite their best efforts, Kirsty's killer was never found. Adding to the heartbreak, Thai law dictates a 20-year statute of limitations for unsolved murders. In 2020, on the 20th anniversary of her death, Kirsty Jones's case was officially closed, leaving her family and the world with no answers, only the enduring echo of a life brutally cut short under a foreign sky. Now we turn to the vast, silent stretches of the New Mexico desert, specifically the West Mesa outside Albuquerque. In 2009, a chilling discovery was made: the remains of 11 women, buried beneath the arid earth. This became the biggest homicide case in Albuquerque's history. The victims were identified as sex workers, and police suspected they were caught in the cruel web of a sex trafficking organization, or perhaps the work of a serial killer. The women had been killed between 2001 and 2005. Many of them Hispanic women in their 20s and 30s. Despite years of investigation and a few persons of interest, no arrests have ever been made. The West Mesa site now stands as a somber, silent memorial to these lost lives, a stark reminder of the secrets the desert can hold, secrets that the quiet winds still try to whisper. Our next tale brings us to the quiet town of Smithborough, New York, and a disappearance tragically overshadowed by a monumental global event. Michelle Harris, a 35-year-old woman, vanished after leaving her boyfriend's house. The date was September 11, 2001. As the world reeled from the terrorist attacks on the World Trade Center, Michelle's disappearance was almost entirely ignored by the media, and New York law enforcement was understandably overwhelmed. Her estranged husband, Cal, became the primary suspect, even being convicted twice for her murder. However, he was later acquitted and sued for malicious prosecution. Despite his acquittal, many still believe Cal is responsible, though the case technically remains open. Due to the law of double jeopardy, he cannot be prosecuted again. The silence around Michelle's disappearance is profound, a quiet tragedy lost in the roar of a national catastrophe. From the echoes of 9/11, we shift to a brilliant mind, a young man who seemingly vanished into thin air. Alexander Kazov, a child prodigy in mathematics, fled Russia with his family and settled in Brooklyn. He excelled, even achieving the remarkable feat of writing a perfect paper at the International Mathematical Olympiad at just 15 years old. But by the summer of 2001, a darker chapter had begun. He was taking antidepressants and grappling with various personal problems, leading him to take a leave of absence from university. On the morning of June 10th, he told his family he was going to the library, hopped on his bicycle, and rode away. He was never seen again. No one knows what happened to this gifted young man. Did he simply choose to disappear, or did something more sinister befall him on that quiet Brooklyn morning? The silence after his departure remains unbroken. As the rain continues its steady beat, we turn our gaze to the land itself, to patterns that appeared as if by magic. Crop circles, intricate designs pressed into fields, gained widespread attention in the late 20th century. While two self-proclaimed hoaxers admitted to creating some in the English countryside, the sheer number and complexity of others left many wondering. By 2001, approximately 10,000 crop circles had been reported worldwide, with a particular surge in the late 1990s. In 1999 alone, 17 appeared across Canada. Their popularity even led to the 2002 movie Sightings. The question remains, were all of these elaborate pranks? Or did some arise from natural phenomena, or perhaps something far grander, something from beyond our skies? The mystery of these perfectly laid patterns in the fields continues to puzzle, a silent message perhaps, left by unknown hands. We return to the somber shadows of September 11, 2001, and a mystery deeply entwined with that day's horror. Sneha Phillip, an emergency room doctor interning at Cabrini Medical Center, lived with her husband in Battery Park City, close to the World Trade Center. On September 10, 2001, she was last seen alive. Many believe that when the towers were struck, Sneha, with her extensive medical training and proximity, raced to ground zero to help the wounded, only to tragically die when the buildings collapsed. However, the NYPD, in their investigation, uncovered extensive personal problems Sneha had been experiencing in the months leading up to 9/11. Despite no direct evidence that she died in the attacks, her family successfully petitioned for her to be officially declared a victim of 9/11. So, what truly happened to the 31-year-old doctor? Did she perish heroically, or did another, more private, tragedy unfold amid the chaos? The truth, like the dust that settled that day, remains unclear. Our next tale brings us to Westminster, Colorado, and a cold winter day in February 1999. Paul Skiba owned a moving company, and on the 7th he brought his 9-year-old daughter, Sarah, to work with him. Lorenzo Chivers, one of Skiba's employees, was also present. When Sarah's mother reported her missing, authorities discovered that all three had vanished. Curiously, a moving van on the lot was missing its extension ramp and was riddled with bullet holes. Both Sarah's and Paul's blood had been smeared across the exterior of the truck. None of the three were ever seen again. Police suspect they were murdered, their bodies likely sunk in a body of water using the missing extension ramp. The quiet winter air of Colorado holds the secret to this baffling triple disappearance, a stark reminder of lives abruptly extinguished. From a family vanished, we turn to a professional driver whose life took a dark turn. John Paul Sr. was a celebrated figure in the racing world, winning prestigious races like the 24 Hours of Daytona and 12 Hours of Sebring in 1982. But his career soon spiraled into a life of crime, leading to 15 years in prison. Upon his release in 1999, he met Colleen Wood. Then, in December 2000, Colleen disappeared. Suspicion immediately fell on Paul, but no charges were ever filed. In the summer of 2001, Paul himself vanished after leaving Fort Lauderdale on his boat. Authorities later discovered he had taken nearly $40,000 from Wood's bank account after her disappearance. He has reportedly been spotted in various exotic locations, from Jamaica to Fiji to Thailand, but he has never been caught. Is he alive, living a new life with stolen money, or did he too disappear permanently? The ocean holds his secrets, if any. Our next story is a truly heartbreaking one: the disappearance of a child on a rainy Valentine's Day. In the early morning of February 14, 2000, 9-year-old Asia Degree left her North Carolina home for reasons unknown. She packed a bag and walked out into the heavy rain. A passing motorist spotted her on Highway 18, but when he turned his car around to approach her, Asia ran into the nearby woods and was never seen again. Some of her belongings were found nearby, and her packed bag was later discovered at a construction site. The FBI reopened the investigation in 2015, and as recently as 2024, a search warrant was executed, naming a local couple as suspects. Yet the case officially remains open and unsolved. Her parents still believe she is alive, clinging to the hope that their little girl will one day return. The rain outside seems to shed tears for Asia, and the countless unanswered questions. From the silent woods, we rise to the skies, where a tragic event unfolded with baffling consequences. On October 31, 1999, Egypt Air Flight 990, on its journey from Los Angeles to Cairo, plunged into the ocean south of Nantucket. The accident was investigated by multiple bodies, including the American National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB, and the Egyptian Civil Aviation Agency, ECAA, but their conclusions were startlingly different. The NTSB concluded the crash was likely caused by deliberate actions taken by the co-pilot, even wishing to involve the FBI. The ECAA, however, vehemently rejected this, claiming mechanical failure. Independent experts tend to side with the NTSB, but the lack of a clear motive for such a heinous act complicates the theory. The mystery remains divisive, suspended between human intent and mechanical failure, leaving the families of 217 souls with no universally accepted answer. Our final story brings us to the chilling quiet of Bear Brook State Park in New Hampshire, where a grim discovery unveiled a prolonged and disturbing mystery. In 1985, a hunter stumbled upon a 55-gallon drum, and inside, the remains of a woman and a little girl. 15 years later, in 2000, a state trooper investigating the site found another drum, containing the remains of 2 more young children. DNA tests proved that the children in the second drum were linked to the woman in the first. The woman was later identified as Marlies Honeychurch, and the 2 girls her daughters. Police believe they were all killed by a man named Terry Rasmussen, who was also the father of the still unidentified girl in the second barrel and Honeychurch's boyfriend. Tragically, Rasmussen died in 2010, taking many of his secrets with him. While advanced genealogy techniques are now being used to identify the last victim, the full story of this horrific crime, and the silent lives lost in the forest, remains etched in the quiet, damp earth of Bear Brook. As the rain softens to a gentle whisper, our journey through these intriguing mysteries comes to a close. Each tale, a small glimpse into the unexplained, a reminder that some questions linger long after the facts have been gathered, fading into the quiet corners of history. If these stories have offered a moment of quiet reflection, then our purpose is served. May the peace of the rain stay with you. Until our paths cross again, may your curiosity guide you through the gentle unknown.